Guys, if you can give me just a second here, I'm making sure that I've got everything minimized and I've got everything muted and stuff like that. Just hang with me 1 second here. I'm getting hit with a commercial on my own channel. This is lovely. Sorry about that, guys. How's everybody doing tonight? Let me just get this over here. I'm going to give it 1 second here, just so everything can get caught up, and we'll get right down to it, folks. I'm awake for a change here. How y'all doing? I've been watching the chat the last couple of minutes here. Let me scroll down. Big Red, thank you for being here, Matt. Of course, Tristan, Nana P, Prepper Wizard, how are you doing? 5x5, thank you, Big Red. I was getting ready to ask that. Big German, I am doing great, actually. Let me see here. Mames, that is a big word, and you're just messing with me because I'm live. Bug out, Philly Flash, how's everything going? Leah, good evening. Deborah, Lena's backyard. Mad Max, okay. Liz, I am well rested, Liz. Thank you very much for that. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start out. There are a couple of things I need to address. I'm going to do it in a positive way. And no, folks, this is not drama. And then we're going to move right along. We're going to hit the ground running tonight, okay? Some of you saw Be Ready Today's stream tonight, which was fantastic. Most of you did not. And so I'm going to recap it, okay? Because everything he said tonight was excellent, and I totally agree. Okay, so a couple of months ago, I had someone donate money to Be Ready Today. Brian, who is like a brother to me, guys. And it came over. Why they did not donate this to Brian directly, I still don't know. I don't know if it's a technical glitch or what happened. But this donation came to me in two different bursts. And the second burst, the second donation on PayPal hit in the middle of the night because this person lived in Australia. Okay, so they're not on our time. And either I did not see the donation or I saw it when I was half asleep. You guys ever pick up the phone when you're in bed and you're half asleep, and I just didn't recall it. So a couple of months go by and I start seeing my name brought up, in other prepping communities. And I'm like, there's no way these folks are talking about me. So I took an afternoon and I went through the PayPal line by line. It took an entire afternoon. I audited my PayPal and I found the mistake on my own. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get confronted with it. I found the mistake and I almost started crying. Not just because I had made a mistake, but because, again, Brian's like a brother to me. For those that don't know, there are a couple of people out there in YouTube land, and Brian is one of them that I go to for spiritual advice. We talk on the phone about once a week, and I just go to him. I ask for prayers, things like this. So it almost killed me when I found out that there had been money sitting in my PayPal that I did not know was supposed to go to him. So I called to apologize to him as soon as I found it, and I PayPal'd the money straight over. So that's the big controversy there, guys. It is on me, but I'm human, and it was an honest mistake. And there it is. I just want to say, for those of you that have been emailing me about Jason over at the Angry Prepper, okay, we talked at length on the phone after his podcast this week. And there was a misunderstanding. He thought I was in the chat trying to troll him. I wasn't even in the chat, guys. And as soon as he realized this, Jason did apologize. And I apologize for anything I've done in the past, to him, to upset him, whatever the case. We're on great terms. I just want to make that clear. And I totally respect the guy. What you need to understand about Jason, the Angry Prepper, number one is he wears his heart on his sleeve. And I respect that about the guy. I really do. I know people here locally that are the same way. They seem confrontational, but they're really not confrontational. They just care a lot, and they're very brash about it. And number two, he has kind of been put into a leadership role here in the prepper community, and it's a big responsibility. And I don't know that he wants it thrown on him, but it's been thrown on him. And so he's trying to do the best he can to kind of keep the peace here in the community. And, he was aggravated, and I understand, even though I wasn't in there, guys, I do understand. And finally, I just want to mention Ed with Preparedness 1. Was it last night, guys? He did a live stream, and I emailed him during the live stream. I told him, in the chat, I'm going to Judy, welcome to the coffee club. Thank you. I told him, I said, man, I'm going to shoot you an email. Ed did not have to email back, but he did. And he said he understood. That's why he didn't throw any names out, because he didn't know the whole story, and he hates drama. And I told him, this is an integrity move, I think, on his part. He didn't have to email back, and he did. So I respect, just to clarify, Jason and Ed very much so. I want to say 3 things, guys. I'm going to say them fast, but I mean them wholeheartedly, okay? Number 1, I've never stolen anything in my life, nor would I. Number 2, I don't have a racist bone in my body, for those who are asking via email. The way I look at it, God put us all here the way he wants us, in his image. And, we're all equal, in my opinion. And number 3, no, guys, please, for those of you that are emailing, I'm not the creator facing prison time over a kid. Wrong guy. I have zero to do with that. I don't know how that got started. I don't know how there's confusion there. I do have a daughter. She's not even 14, guys, and I would body bag somebody for touching her. So I'm not that guy. I have made some mistakes now. When I saw, look, I'm going to be up front, okay? When I saw my name getting kicked around, and I saw people saying, somebody stole money, and I realized they were talking about me, I did say some, out of a place of anger, okay? I said some unchristian things about a few creators here on YouTube. And I'm not going to throw their names out here, because I have since then emailed them to apologize. And I told them I would do it, however they want. I can call them. I can apologize over the phone. But I sent sincere apologies. I just wasn't acting like a Christian man at the time. And so I am sorry. I've made mistakes, guys. I'm human. But who am I? For those of you that are asking, I'm not Batman. I'm not Spider-Man, by the way. My wife got me this mug tonight. I don't even read Spider-Man, but it's a cool looking mug. And I ain't turning down a coffee mug, son. Who am I? I am the guy that God opened the door for the middle of last year. I'm the guy that's been trying to do his best. I haven't always gotten it right, but I've been trying to do my best to help people and help the Great Commission since God opened that door. And I'm the guy that's going to continue to do this for him to the best of my ability. From this moment forward, I know there's some trolls, not necessarily in chat, but there are some trollish people out there. We all know this, okay? And those folks can call me a jewel thief if they want to. They can call me Santa Claus. They can call me Charlie Sheen's love child. It doesn't matter at this point. I'm over it. I'm past it. Folks can think I'm not a real prepper. They can think I'm here to sell t-shirts. They can believe that I'm here to build my brand. It doesn't matter anymore, because at the end of the day, Prepper Nation has never been about me. Okay. As I said, God opened the door, and Prepper Nation, yeah, I'm building a brand over here, but it's his brand. It's not mine. I just want to clarify that. Okay. It doesn't matter to me anymore. The drama and the nonsense did get me sidetracked for a while, and it kind of got me off focus, if you will, from the reason that I'm here. And that is to truly, the Great Commission, for those of you that aren't familiar, it's basically you're trying to do God's work to the best of your ability down here on earth. And I'm just going to continue to do that. I'm razor focused at this point, guys. Here on this channel, moving forward, we're going to prep, we're going to pray, and we're going to have a lot of fun. All right. I'm no longer going to be appearing on other channels. I made that choice earlier today, and it's not it doesn't have anything to do with the other creators here on YouTube. I just want to focus my attention here on Prepper Nation. But for creators that are here to spread the gospel and they want to, convert people, you are more than welcome on this show. All you have to do is email. Okay. So now on with the show. All right. Enough of that stuff. Let's get on with the show. I have a special guest here tonight. He's been here before, but the man is not only is he a great prepper, he's a godly man. How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, and I
I
don't
was
know
hoping
about
so, man. I was just sitting here doing this spiel. I was hoping I didn't do it for nothing, man.
yeah.
I
Uh,
mean,
you said a special guest. I ain't very special, but I'm
oh
here
man, you're
anyway.
special. I got to admit, look, man, I see it going on behind you right now. The theme and the headset, I'm loving it, man. It looks really good.
I appreciate it. I've been trying to get a better setup. I got a buddy of mine that's going to build me a computer that'll hopefully it'll run faster and everything like that. Because I told him, what I'll be doing with it, live streaming and everything. And I got the headset here where hopefully it doesn't have any echoes or anything like that, and
Nah,
it
man, you
seems to
sound
work
good.
pretty good. So
You sound good. I got a little bit of stuff. I wrote some stuff down so we would have some stuff to talk about. I know your buddy's coming on in a little bit, right?
yeah,
Do you want
that's
to
the
tell folks
plan.
about him a little bit?
All right, yeah. After a while, my buddy, if you've watched my channel, you've seen him on, but it's Reverend Orville Gregory. Um, me and him are like brothers, and he's also the pastor, well, one of the pastors at our church. So, you know, we're really close. We're like brothers, and we got a part of the mag, and the church deal, and the whole 9 yards. You really can't ask for much better.
Absolutely, man. So I got to ask this week, did you see Joe Biden fall up the steps? Fall up the steps after he made fun of Trump? I think it was last year.
I didn't watch any of his speeches, or I don't keep up with him, but I did see that was kind of shared around everywhere. So I honestly feel bad for the guy because I don't think he knows where he's at. They're just parading him around so bad, and the man needs help, and nobody will help him.
I think his wife's a doctor, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I think she's a doctor. She's got to know better by
Yeah,
now. He accidentally called Harris president. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before.
I did see that one.
Explain to me, man. You're somebody. Of course, you don't live in another country, but if you are, explain to me what's going through your head when you see this stuff about America on TV.
I mean, I'll tell you what, it's bad. Like I said, it's not so much that he's, a bad guy or whatever, which I don't agree with any of his policies or anything, but he's honestly sick. I believe he's
Yeah.
got dementia, and all the other countries, I mean, are laughing at us. What would you think about another country with a president or whatever they call their leaders over there, emperor or anything like that, that somebody had to lead him around, spoon feed him what to say in the speeches, and you know basically help him walk? You wouldn't respect the country anymore.
And guys in the chat, really quickly, I know that she's not a medical doctor. I'm just making the point that if she has any sort of doctrine whatsoever, she's probably educated enough to know that he's not really in good enough shape to run the country. She should have stepped in a long time ago, in my opinion. So Biden has been here for what, almost 60 days now. He has not had one single news conference. We still have the migrant detention centers, for the
Mhm.
kids and things. Prepper Brian Keith, brother, how you doing? He says 6-shooter. I'm still waiting for your email.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do that, but honestly, I'm just running behind. I am going to get you on though. This coming Monday, I do have a guest, and next Monday is possible, but I hadn't heard back from them. So next Monday, if they're not able to come on or whatever, you can come on if you like, if you're
Kind of
free.
like that movie, The Replacements, with Keanu Reeves. If the other people are on strike, Brian Keith, he's bringing you in. I love that movie. So I don't think you're a Democrat, but I'm going to ask you to become one for about 30 seconds, knowing what you know. Explain to me how the country is any better now that we have Biden as compared to Trump.
Well, he hadn't put out any mean tweets, I don't think, so that's a
That's
plus.
true. You got me on that one. Yeah, man. Well, to be
Uh,
fair, Trump hasn't put any out in the last 50 or 60 days either. I think they still got
that's
him
true.
banned on Twitter.
I
Oh, man.
imagine so, and I mean, I can't believe he ain't started his own social media deal just so he can get back out there. It's got to be hard on him.
Yeah. Trump strikes me as the kind of guy that'll try and buy a smaller one and bring it up, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, if he buys it, it ain't going to be small for long. Everybody will be jumping on there. So I put out a video, and I got to be careful what I say here. I put out a video this week on Rumble, guys. If you're not on Rumble, the link's down below, about the Second Amendment and the shootings, that like the nightclub deals that have been going on this week, and how they've turned into an instant race debate. I don't know why this is. I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on it, and then I really want to get your thoughts on it. I believe they purposely tried to divide us.
I agree with that. I mean, it just seems like they spin so many different stories, so many different ways just to fit that narrative. I mean, you look at it when you have a shooting, whether it's a mass shooting or whether it's one person, one on one type of thing, they always bring race into it when that doesn't matter. If it's a shooting, it's like, hey, one person did this and, so many whatever, but they always seem to bring that in there just for that fact when it suits the narrative. They don't bring it in as much when you have the races reversed, but they always try to push that narrative.
I think so too, man. And what it comes down to, for me at least, is I think people of all colors want the same thing. You know, they want to be safe, they want their kids to be safe, and they want to be treated equally. And I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with that. Yeah, I gotta say it really sucks when the Coke company is sending out memos telling people how to be less white.
Yeah.
That kind of gets under my skin a little bit. But
Yeah.
I
The
I
thing
think
of it
some of the
is, the thing
do
of
what?
it is that they keep pushing, all of this race stuff. And like you said, the majority people feel the same way. They just want to be able to work, provide for their family, and just be left alone. But they keep stirring up the hornet's nest because if everybody finally comes together with one another, then, you know, the elites have something to worry about. As long as everybody's fighting amongst themselves, nobody's worried about what these big wigs are doing. Sleight of hand type of deal.
Can you imagine if all of the people, all of the middle class and the lower class, if you will, just stopped fighting each other and kind of got together and said, you know what, we're tired of this crap. Can
Hmm.
you imagine what this country would look like at that point? You know?
Well, that's what all the, you know, stirring everybody up last year and the riots and everything. That's why they push it so hard. They want us fighting amongst each other because, like you said, if everybody finally lays down the hate and come together, then everybody get on the same page. It's like, hey, I don't think the country ought to be going this way. Let's do something about it.
Yeah. Just a thought, folks in chat. Everybody needs to get along here for a couple of years and just that's how you get rid of the swamp, I think.
That's
So
exactly right.
I think I already know the answer to this, but do you own any boomsticks?
Well, I got a couple.
Got a couple.
But
Well, you don't have to tell me how many dozen you got or anything.
I
The-
don't understand why anybody wouldn't have one. Whether you're a gun fanatic or not. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but boomstick fanatic or not. Um, it's just peace of mind. It's your freedom. It's your right to do so, and all those types of things. I believe everybody should have at least one,
yeah.
and especially being a prepper or a homesteader. I mean, it's almost beginning 101. It's kind of first thing you got to have. It's on the list.
Yeah. Um
Part of the
The
five
reason I'm
C's is
asking,
combustion.
the reason I'm asking is I just got a 12 gauge yesterday. I finally bid on one. I found one on sale that I liked. And I was going to ask you and also the folks in chat, because I know there are a lot of boomstick people in chat. What are some good attachments that I need to look into for it?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a huge, shotgun fan in general. They're good for home defense and all that kind of stuff, but I honestly, like pistols and things better myself. Um, more concealable, versatile, and all that. But just the home defense role, that works all right. But just about any kind of, you know, boomstick that I'm going to have for, defensive purposes, I like having a light on it. Whether you use it or not, I think it's a good thing to have.
Everybody's throwing down light on there also.
Hmm.
So I will look into one of those guys. And did you know, I'm just throwing this out there, when you're filling out the form now, it'd been, I don't know, about a year and a half since I'd filled out one of the forms, where you fill it out and then you go to the computer and you're like, I'm not a felon, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
They put non-binary on there now.
Yep, I've seen that.
And I was like, what in the world?
I
So
seen I seen a while back. I don't remember who was talking about it, but they were talking about, how a lot of people are like, that's crazy and everything. But they were like, it's actually a good thing because if it's that many people that, identify that way or whatever, that would be, upset that a, form wouldn't have that option on there, then it's a good thing that that group is also buying, boomsticks. So that's another way to look at it.
I was just, yeah, I was sitting there thinking, and maybe I'm wrong to say this. I don't know. I mean, I really don't, but I'm like, how many people that identify as non-binary are in here buying boomsticks? There can't be many. You know what I mean? It
Yeah, it
just don't,
doesn't seem like it.
it doesn't hit me as kind of like I don't know, there's some machismo involved. You know what I mean? When you're getting a boomstick, and I'm just like, it blew my mind, honestly.
Mhm.
Um, so folks in the chat, if you don't mind shooting a quick thumbs up or down, whichever, y'all know what to do there, son. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And also check this man out, Six Shooter Homestead. They're blasting his link out in the chat. And I
I would
also want to mention
appreciate it.
real fast, I've got your channel linked down below. And I've also got my friends, James and Millie from Weekend RVing, linked down below. I'm there almost every morning, and they're just awesome. Quickly, guys, if you don't mind, shout out your region, not your street address, not your street address here. This ain't Harbor Freight, son. Just your general region, and maybe y'all will find somebody near you if you're looking for a mag or looking for some sort of a group. Tomorrow's
I
premiere, I'm going to be premiering a new compass, like a tactical compass I needed a new one bad. Six Shooter, how's your YouTube experience been so far?
honestly, it's been good. I've been learning a lot of stuff because I haven't been, very tech savvy or anything like that, and I appreciate everything that you've helped me out with, and um, things like that, learning the ins and out, and I really enjoy making videos, and I really enjoy interacting with the people. I've started doing live streams, and I really enjoy doing that. And I'm using your premieres and stuff. And one degree or another, a lot of times it's kind of lurking in the background, working and stuff. So if I miss anybody in chat or whatever, I apologize for that. But I really enjoy being able to connect with other people. It's been a real good thing, and I've learned a lot of stuff from different channels and stuff like that, and hopefully somebody's learned something from me.
Timothy, thank you for that super chat. He put for the sun jar. I hopefully somebody's been keeping up with the sun jar, because I'm not going to keep up with that kind of damage. If I got to pay it at the end of the month, I don't want to have to keep up with it. But no, from time to time I'll get emails and stuff, and they'll say, do you have any advice? I'm thinking about starting my new channel.
Hmm.
And you're almost monetized now, man. So what kind of advice would you have for a new creator? Because I know you remember, like, when you first set it up and everything.
Yeah, I've only been doing it about a year, a little bit over, or something like that, and Honestly, it hadn't grown as much as I thought it would. It's kind of been going slow, but different things, just getting out there, and maybe the algorithm kind of buries you and stuff like that. Normal stuff. But I would just say, if you're going to start a channel or whatever, just go ahead and bite the bullet and basically forget any expectations you have. Just go on, be yourself. Be genuine. Talk about how you do things and what you feel like and stuff like that, and enjoy doing it. Enjoy uh the people that interact with you, instead of just hey, I need 100,000 subscribers and stuff like that. You know what I mean. But
Yeah.
I'd rather have a small group that is really good people and really good interactions and things, than have a massive outreach of trolls. It's not worth the drama.
So the translation there, folks in the chat, is he is daring y'all to give him a subscribe tonight. He's daring you, son. Um, one thing I will say, I'll just add this: when you mess up on here, people will let you know about it. There have been a couple of videos now where I've looked at states that sound similar, and
Hmm.
I'll mix them up when I'm doing the video, and the inbox will straight blow up. And they should let you know, I screw it up sometimes. I ain't gonna lie to you. Are you doing any planting this year?
Well, we've already got stuff in the greenhouse, and it's been a learning experience, to say the least. I've grown a lot of stuff in the garden, but this was the first year doing the greenhouse, and we've, come a long way. We did a lot of stuff wrong in the beginning. The heat wasn't right, and things got too cold and froze, and all that kind of stuff. But we do have some tomato starters in there now to go in the garden. I've tilled it up. We've already planted the cold weather stuff, like the potatoes and broccoli and cabbage and onions and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to the, actual summer, I call it, when you can, really get the garden going, because that's one of my favorite things. I've always enjoyed growing stuff ever since I was a kid.
Do you guys have deer where you're at?
Yeah, we have a few.
How do you keep them out of the gardens? That's the main thing we deal with here.
Well, to be honest with you, they don't really bother it as much. Last year, I put up a barbed wire fence around my garden, and the
Mhm.
reason for that is the neighbor had some cows that like to get out, at least once a week, and we didn't want them come and visit the garden, so we put up a fence. But um, now, just the amount of animals we have, you don't really have deer coming around, because I mean, we got the goat fence right out there beside the garden spot. It's kind of in the middle of the yard, and we got dogs out there that bark all the time and things like that. So they don't really come in the yard that much. And there's some open fields and stuff around us, so they just kind of like staying more back in the woods.
Gotcha. We are just now starting to plant tomatoes, and when I say we, I'm talking about my wife and daughter. I ain't gonna lie to you. They're the planters. My wife is just learning how to can. Her grandmother's teaching her how to can. Um, and I was just wondering what to plant, like what's the easiest that we won't screw up, especially me. We're looking into some of the raised flower beds,
Hmm.
and then we're going to have to get, I think, like one of those dog kennel deals because we can't keep the deer out any other way.
Yeah, that's a
What's
good option.
what's some easy stuff to keep to grow, like some stuff that even I can't mess up. We've done green
Honestly,
beans before.
yeah, honestly, in my opinion, probably potatoes. They just seem to always grow pretty good for us, and you can do them. We did some last year, and we're going to do some this year. Is planting them in tires. If you've seen that, you do one tire. You fill it in with some soil, and then you put a layer of potatoes in it. You put about 3 or 4, you know, eyes in it, where you cut off the sections and stuff. And then you'll fill that up with dirt, and then you'll put another tire on, do the same thing again, about three high, something like that. And we had pretty good luck with it last year. And the good thing about it, you plant the potatoes in the garden and stuff, then you got to dig them all up out of the dirt. Where in something like that, you can basically just dump them, and harvest everything like
That's a
that.
really good idea. Yeah, that's a
Some
good idea.
people some people will say that you can't do it in tires because it like absorbs the rubber or something like that, but I've seen a lot of people on YouTube do it, and we didn't have any issue with it last year, so it seemed to work fine for us.
I guess it's better than absorbing the pesticides and stuff, if you buy them in some of the stores, right?
I
So
believe so.
here's a really odd question that's going to put you on the spot. And I don't know if Cherokee Survival's in here or not, but we were talking the other night about older shows and shows we like and stuff like that. And I got to thinking, if we had to go to an underground bunker for a year, what are 5 shows that we would take with us? You ever heard, people say the 5 shows they would take to a deserted island? We're
Mhm.
preppers, so we'd be in a bunker somewhere. And I'm going to give you I'm going to give you guys my 5, and then I would love to hear your 5. So you got a minute to think about it. I wrote mine down here. Let's see. Seinfeld, The Office, Gunsmoke, Bonanza, I Love Westerns, and Dukes of Hazzard. That's the 5 shows I'm taking into the bunker with me.
That's pretty good ones. Honestly, I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. I could, other than The Walking Dead, I love that. So I don't think that's quite old enough to qualify.
I
But
forgot that one, man.
as a matter of fact, I was going to bring it up here, but I completely forgot. But I made me a Lucille today. I got a wooden bat and
Really?
wrapped it
I've
in
seen the
barbed wire and
replica ones
everything.
before, but they ain't, they're not real bats.
Yeah, this is the real deal here. So it's a Louisville Slugger wrapped in barbed wire. So she ought to be good to go.
That is
But
awesome. Guys in the chat, go ahead and name off the ones you would take. Somebody said MASH. I forgot about that one. There's so many good ones, man.
But yeah, if that would qualify, I would say Walking Dead, and Dukes of Hazzard's good too. A buddy of mine, I mean, he's a diehard fan. He can quote you every show line for
Yeah.
line. But
I think
I
what is
like
it?
that,
Is it
and
season 4 though with Vance and Coy? I'd have to leave that one behind.
I think it is season 4. But yeah, they sucked. It was not the same thing. But
Really
I
quickly for
like
the
that.
folks. Do what?
Said I like that, and I always like the Waltons and shows like that, and Green Acres and stuff.
Be Charming, Prison Break. I love that show. I totally forgot about it too. Daggone it. For the folks that are asking about the History Channel, Tuesdays, we premiere Tuesdays, and we're going to be talking about this week the causes of the U.S. Civil War, the actual causes, not just the blanket statement.
Mhm.
So questions, guys, put them in all caps. We can answer some questions for you blue coats and you war daddies. You know who you are. You should be able to go over to Patreon or the YouTube community section, and your links are there waiting on you if you want to join us. And we got a special guest in the green room. I'm going to go ahead and bring him over, 6-shooter.
All right.
How you doing, sir?
What's going on, John? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Good to be on. I appreciate you sending me the link.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for being here, man.
Oh, yeah.
I've checked you out a little bit on 6-shooters. I've seen a little bit of your stuff, and it's my kind of preaching, man. It really is.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, not a
Yeah, I
problem.
try to keep it old school. I always said I was a new preacher with an old school message.
Well, that's fine. The message, in my opinion, should be old school. I think a lot of churches and things have gotten off the word too much, They've kind of
That's right.
adapted it as times have changed, and I don't think that's a good thing.
Some things just don't need no change, right?
They really don't. No. The biggest thing I struggle with, and I'm going to tell y'all straight out, is some of the wording in the Bible. I have a hard time understanding some of it. I actually had to take a college class that explained, how to take it in context and understand society at that time and stuff, because I really couldn't understand some of, what was going on. I would have to read it 10 or 15 times before I finally got it. My kids always laugh. They're like, Dad, you need to get one of those kids animated Bibles or something like the comic book version,
Boy got one of those. Man, I've grown up in church. That's all I knew. My daddy's a preacher, and my grandmother and my grandfather, they're preachers. So, I mean, they just poured it into me since I was a little boy, and it just flows natural, I guess. I was definitely chosen.
I started going to church. I don't know what y'all's stories are, but I started going to church over a girl when I was like 12 and a half, 13. And the girl thing didn't work out. But when I was there, I started to listen to the preaching, and I got saved and baptized when I was 13. And
Amen.
not gonna lie, I kind of in my 20s and early 30s, I got away from it. I was still what I considered myself to be a Christian, but I was one of those Christians where I wasn't, living the way I should have been living. And then a few years ago, rededicated my life to God, and it's the hardest thing to do, but at the same time, it's really rewarding. You know what I mean? I'm sure you know what I mean. What am I talking about?
Oh yeah, we've all been through that, man. We've all stumbled and really questioned ourselves. I've questioned myself a lot of times, through the years, but God was always there to help me through and bring me back.
Yeah.
Interesting way to chat.
Honestly, I grew up in church. None of my families were preachers or anything, but just always went to church on Sunday and things like that. But I heard it and got saved at a young age and all that, and like I said, got away from it. Like basically everybody does in your teenage years and things like that. In my teenage and 20s, I ain't quite hit 30s yet, but anyway, I'm gonna come back around and really over this last year, Orville here has helped me a whole lot on it, and we've grown a whole lot, and I've really grown a whole lot more spiritually than I ever thought I would. Actually, getting in a good church that preaches it like it is, it doesn't sugarcoat anything, and getting in the Word and things like that, it's really made a big difference.
Yeah, I was one of these people. To be honest, that I had all kinds of questions. I'm like, I gotta have proof. I need to see something. All this stuff, and then once I kind of started getting over that a little bit, I realized the proof's all around us already. The answers are already there. I'm just too stubborn to see it. You take a look at the world around us and you realize there ain't no way this got here by accident. You know, everything's perfectly in line from our bodies to the ecosystem. It's all there's a creator. And
Yeah.
so at this point, I'm like, well, if I know there's a creator, I might as well go ahead and read up on that a little bit, which I need to do more of also.
Honestly, we all do, and we all need to pray more too.
Yeah.
Prayer is the key. You got to pray. It don't matter how much you know of that word. If you ain't praying that word and having that, if you don't talk to your wife, you ain't going to have a relationship very long, right? Yeah. It's the same thing. I mean, with the Lord, it's personal. And people, they don't seek him personally. It's got to be an everyday. People say, well, I ain't got time to read or pray or do all this. But no, if you love the Lord, you're going to make time. That's our problem. We profess that we're Christians, but we don't love him like we say we love him.
That's a very good analogy. Very good way of putting it, like a relationship with a spouse. Because that was my problem all through my 30s. It was kind of like I would say I was a Christian, and then when something bad popped up, I would pray. But otherwise, I wasn't doing any of it, And I don't know, man. I don't know if you guys have kids or not, but having kids really makes you think about a lot that you didn't really think about before.
The love of the Father.
Yeah. And
That's
see,
right.
I was my 20s and 30s, I hate to say it, I was a Democrat. I thought just live and be free and all this stuff. And then you have kids and you're like, well, wait a minute, what's the world going to look like once I'm gone? And, I'm like, well, that's when I became real conservative. A lot of things changed when I had kids for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will change you.
I got a little boy. His name's Orville too.
Homestead Homeboy, thank you for that. He said, life doesn't bring happiness. Happiness brings life. Prep, pray, and prep. Thank you for that. What's your quote behind you again, 6-shooter? Stay prayed up, prepped up, and strapped up.
Yep.
Timothy, thank you. He talks a lot about my ex-wife in Revelations. See here. So,
No breaking
Orville,
up on me.
what kind of message would you have for people? You know, if there's somebody in here tonight that doesn't know about Christianity, or they just have bought into the stereotypes.
Well, look, when we go through things and all that, we search for happiness and all that in different areas, right? Like some people use drugs, some people try alcohol. We try all these different avenues, and they've all failed. I mean, they can never do it. So why not try the Lord? Why not try to grow your relationship and seek Him for yourself, not for what I say or what a certain preacher or Sunday school or whatever mom and daddy say. Get in there for yourself and really study the scripture. Like, don't just read it, study it. And then, like I said, pray yourself and then try to seek out for Him. And it'll become personal to you because the Lord will show Himself to you. And He doesn't need me. God doesn't need me to show you anything. He can show you all things. And when the Spirit comes, the Holy Spirit, it said that He would lead and guide us into all truth. And that brings comfort to us. We look for it in a lot of different ways. And, it seems to be failing every time. We go through this and we go through that, and we'll try a different way of escape. But I tell you what, you need to try Jesus Christ, because when you put Him on, it's going to be a change, and it's going to be lasting change. Like, I don't know any real men of God who regret serving the Lord.
Not always easy, but no, definitely no regret involved.
Try.
Not at all.
But you look back when you had 9/11 happen, churches everywhere were filled. When something goes bad, everybody goes looking for God then. And then as things get back to normal, they throw it out the window again.
Yeah,
I kind
of sort of got in trouble one time in college because the topic, we had to write like a short essay, what's wrong with the United States and all this stuff. And everybody went to politics immediately. And I said, it's because we don't have people like Billy Graham preaching at Yankee Stadium anymore. You know what I mean? He used to pack it out. And in 2021, if somebody tried to do that, man, can you imagine what they would be called?
Well, they are doing that, but they're doing it wrong. You got all these mega churches and prosperity preachers. They have full houses. Until they had the shutdowns, they had full houses busting at the seams, but they're not preaching Jesus. They're preaching, you fix yourself, basically. I can't remember what you call it, but self-help type stuff. They're not preaching the truth, and that's why they have so many followers, because the honest gospel is hard. Not a lot of people want to do it because it is so hard. It is offensive. Jesus said that He come to bring division, because you either follow God or you following the world. Ain't no two ways about it.
That's true. Homestead Homeboy, thank you. I'm sorry.
I'd rather have 10 Christians on fire for God than 10,000 Christians that are lukewarm.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus took 12 disciples and turned the world upside down or right side up, however you want to look at it. If you get 10 men and women of God together, that is something strong. And like, as far as those big mega churches, they're preaching a gospel that is bringing no change to the life. When you know who Jesus is and you see Him and He comes in, it says that we would be made new creatures. There's no change there. They're not preaching against sin. They're not preaching that hell is real. And they're not preaching the love of Jesus Christ, because, He loved us enough to die for us. But people don't see that love. And then they don't have a life change afterwards.
I'm always telling people, well, not always, but sometimes on here, that prepping's more than just stacking food and bullets and stuff like that. Some people are prepping, for a tornado or an earthquake, because they might get one. And I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking we're all going to die at some point. We need to be prepping for that because we ain't getting out of that one. Everybody's going to hit that at some point.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about like the TV preachers and stuff. Who's your favorite? Who would you recommend? He's passed away now, but Miles Monroe, I still watch him on YouTube. He's awesome. But who do you guys normally watch when because there might be somebody out there that can't get out to church and they may have to watch it on YouTube or TV or something.
I like Leonard Ravenhill. He's an old school preacher. I tell you, another good preacher was G.E. Patterson. They're like my two favorites.
Honestly, my favorite YouTube preacher is Reverend Orville Gregory.
I knew you were going to say that, man.
But I really like David Wilkerson.
I seen it, yeah.
I really like David Wilkerson too.
Yeah. I've noticed, like you guys were talking, I've noticed like these mega churches on TV and stuff. Sometimes they'll have a good message. I can connect with the message, but then when there's a crisis or something like that, and there's all kinds of homeless around, they won't let anybody in. Like they're not using the church for what it should be used for. I prefer the small churches.
Business.
Yeah. I prefer the very small churches that are using the money for other things. Personally,
you need the gift of discernment to tell who you should follow and who should you not, because Jesus warned us of wolves in sheep's clothing, and that's what a lot of them are.
If they preach for 10 minutes and beg you for money 30 minutes, change the channel.
Just some solid advice right there.
Yeah, cut that thing off. Because just like I said, God don't need me. He don't need your money either. The word says that he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He created everything. Back in the Bible days, he didn't use money men. Them people was broke. They didn't even have nowhere to sleep.
Yeah, it's sad, man. I've ran across people here locally, that I went to school with and stuff. And it's not that they don't want to hear the gospel. They really believe that they're too far gone. Like, they'll tell me, I got to get myself straightened out before I get saved. And I try and tell them, no, it's the other way around. You know what I mean? You get saved and you listen. And like you said, you pray and the change comes. But it's really hard to explain that to people. And I've been there myself,
That's exactly right. I heard one, I'm not sure if it was David Wilkerson or who, but was talking about like, when you get physically dirty, fall in a mud hole or something, covered from head to toe, do you go wash your hands in the sink first, or do you go jump in the shower and get totally clean? It makes no sense. A lot of people believe like that, but it's not true. It doesn't matter how far gone you are, you can go to Jesus if it's genuine, the Spirit draws people and you got to act on that.
When I was coming up, I knew the Lord. I watched my family preach. I can't even tell you how many church services, but I still wandered out there and I drank and I done drugs and I run around and acted like a fool, just a straight up fool. But no matter how bad I got, the Lord was always still there to lift me up and grab me by the hand and pull me out, And I'm going to tell you like this, if I can stand in the pulpit and preach to somebody else and he can use me, he can use anybody. He can save anybody.
Yeah. Has anybody in chat that has been saved, or either of you, have y'all ever lost friends for standing up for God? Because it seemed like when I rededicated my life, my friends evaporated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Just a few years ago, I'm 28 now. When I was 26, the night I turned 26, I woke up in jail. And,
really?
it was, off and on after that. But finally, when I got serious and cut out the nonsense and stuff, your circle gets small. Friends and family both, not so much just plain disown you, but you don't have anything in common anymore. You don't share that common goal. And, you have to go separate ways. You get the fork in the road, and sometimes that's hard, but it comes out better in the long run. Right now, the way my life and the way I'm, you know, lined up with God, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the past. And when I started
Amen.
the channel here, is mainly on like prepping stuff, and that was even really when we were starting the homestead before we got the homestead stuff. But I done a lot of that. Where now I'm still doing that, but I'm really feeling the spirit telling me that I need to spread the word more. That's one thing I've always had trouble with, is actually talking to people about God, because I never feel like that I know enough. It's like, hey, what if they ask me this question and I can't answer it?
Those friends that you lost when you got saved weren't your real friends anyway.
Oh yeah, I
You-
know that now, but before, I was never into drugs or anything bad. It was drinking. And they would come over on the weekends. We would just drink, and have a good time. And then, like I said, when I had my kids, I started to get convicted. I'm like sitting here and I see my little kids crawling around, getting ready to try and walk. I'm like,
That's right.
I don't want to have them grow up and see me doing this crap,
Amen to
And so I
that.
gave it up, and bro, I ain't seen them since. My friends ain't been over since. I still have 2 or 3 that come over, but they were never, drinking to begin with.
If somebody don't want to see you blessed and see you do better for yourself and for your family, they need to be cut anyway. You know, I mean, there's people that come into our lives for seasons, seasonal help, whether we benefit them or we benefit from them. And that can be in a good way or a bad way. We can have bad influences on our lives, and the Lord is teaching us through those situations for something later on down the road. So those friends that we all three lost, we was learning experiences for later on down the road, and that will give us an avenue to tell somebody else, hey, look, I've been through this and I've been through that, and the Lord has brought me through. And even though I've lost a couple things, whether it be money, whether it be friends, whether it be family, I mean, a lot of people come against you when you get saved. But he said that would happen. The Lord said, you remember that they hated me first before they hated you. They crucified Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get worse, man. I just had somebody today suggest, and it's a really good suggestion, that we memorize the word, because they think there's going to come a point in time here in America where we're not allowed to own a Bible anymore.
It's coming.
I believe that.
And that's pretty scary, to be honest with you.
I definitely believe that's coming. I mean, they're canceling Dr. Seuss and everything like that.
Mr. Potato Head, son. They got rid of Mr. Potato Head.
They are
Right.
going to cancel it because, like I said, to people that are sinners and downright heathens, the word of God is offensive, and they're going to cancel it.
Somebody just said in chat that we were buffering, and I'm like, it's because we're talking about Jesus. They hate that.
Mm-hmm.
If Google catches wind of that, son, they'll buffer you all day long. But it doesn't matter. Somebody's still going to hear what they need to hear tonight, I think.
It's
Yeah,
one
I
thing
think
that Orville always says that I like. It says that the word never comes back void.
that's right. You put it out there, it's going to do what it was sent to do. It's a seed. Whether you believe it tonight or not, whether it be us three or the people that's listening, whether you believe it or not, you're hearing that gospel. And that seed is being planted, just like you go out there to that garden and you dropping them seeds. I might plant a seed. Six might plant a seed. John, you might plant a seed. Somebody else gonna come and bring some water to that seed. You know what I'm saying? And then sooner or later, at the right time, God's gonna bring the increase, and it never comes back void. And when He brings a harvest, He brings a harvest.
Yeah. And I realize, look, guys, I realize everybody in the chat's not a born-again Christian. That's okay. Anybody's welcome. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Sometimes people that are non-believers who convert are some of the strongest Christians there are. You know,
Amen to that.
some of the strongest preaching I've ever heard has come from people that did not believe in God until something happened in their life. The best church sign, I got to tell you guys this real quick, and then maybe you guys have one too. The best church sign I've ever seen was the problem with atheism is it has no future.
That's true.
That's a good one.
I've heard another one. It said that I'd rather live like there is a God and die and find out that there ain't one than live like there ain't one and die and find out that it is one. But
Yeah.
I've actually got the chat over here. I'm not seeing everybody, but Homestead Homeboy. I seen him earlier. I was over in Papa Prepper's chat earlier, and I seen him a little bit. But good to see you in here, homeboy.
Don't you just love saying that? Good to see you in here, homeboy.
Yeah. One of the streams that me and Orville did, it was probably the last one we did together, and we went on for a long time talking about, you know, God and everything, and it was ones going back and forth in the chat and stuff. And then Orville was saying he used to be thug life all the way, and a lot of people got a kicker to that.
Thug life. So Orville, I mean, we've probably got 5 or 10 minutes left. Where can people find you on YouTube? Like, what's the channel name? Is it different?
Reverend Orville Gregory IV.
Okay, because I'm sure some people are going to be looking for you.
And if you can't find them like that, if you go to my channel, I have him in my featured channels list.
Gotcha. So, folks, you can find him there. Orville, man, you have the floor. If you have a message you want to deliver the last 5 minutes or something here.
Well, I just want to say, if you don't know Jesus, it's time you get to know him. Because the things that are going on in our country, in our families, in our lives, you know, it's affecting everyone, whether good or bad. You know, you need to have that security. And if you don't, and you're feeling lost, you know, because a lot of people right now are feeling lonely and they don't know what to do, and people are stressed out. You know, put your cares upon him because he cares for you. Even if you don't know him, he still loves you. And, you know, the Lord's been talking to me about being a tree planted by the rivers of water. And my last video, that's what I posted. And that's what he'll make you. You know, if you've seen a tree and it's planted and it's been cultivated and it's been cared for and it grows big and strong, something's holding that thing up, and it's the root system, right? Well, that's what's holding me up. And all the things that I've been through in my life, you know, the Lord, he's held me up through it all. And I tell you what, if I face something big tomorrow, he's going to be with me in that. Things that I thought I could never come through on the other side, he's always stood with me. He never leave me. And he'll do the same for you because he's no respecter of persons. And I just want to say that he loves me and he's been good to me. And I could sit here and tell you all night how good the Lord's been to me with my family, with my kid, you know, in my life, what he's brought me through. And he'll do all that for you. He'll do all that for each and every one of y'all tonight. And I urge you, I beg you to just start praying and seeking him and ask him to reveal himself to you. Stop looking to everybody else to tell you about him, and you start looking for him yourself. And he's going to show up, and he'll show up in a mighty way in your life.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. Folks in the chat, one last time, 6-Shooter Homestead is linked down below. Reverend Orville Gregory here. He's on YouTube, but he is also in the featured channel section of 6-Shooter. And I just saw Weekend RVing up in the chat. They're also linked down below. James and Millie, they're fantastic. I normally stop in over there on most mornings because they're just positive, man. You know what I mean? And they were talking about how you guys were doing a great job spreading the gospel. You two are welcome here anytime. Just let me know. Email me and let me know you want to come on, and we will do it. It's been fantastic, man. I appreciate y'all being here so much. Thank you, Homestead Homeboy. Yeah, folks that are still in here in the chat, I knew we were going to lose some. We started talking about Jesus. That normally happens. I thought we would lose a lot more, but we only lost, you know, 30 or 40 people. They just ain't ready to hear it, I guess. But maybe eventually. So that's it. If you guys have any less questions, send them over. Otherwise, we're going to close down the shop.
And I wanted to say I appreciate everybody that's came over and followed me. A lot of people that's been following me for a while now came from when I was over here on Shogun the first time, and I appreciate everybody doing that and still working on getting to 1,000. And when I do get there, I will do a giveaway. I'm thinking either a knife or a flashlight or something. And, you know, I'm not endorsed by any companies, so I will be buying it out of my own pocket and sending it out to you. And it'll be something I trust, you know, either a Olight or a Benchmade. You know, a lot of people don't like either one, but I've had good luck with both. So that will be the deal. So
that's important to throw that out there, because I promise you, when you get monetized, people will start accusing you of it.
Yeah.
You just have no idea, man.
Yeah, I can do that too. I actually got a whole box of them over there in the corner.
Of what's that?
Bibles.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Send a Bible out with everything. The most important thing, guys, when it comes to 6-shooter is if we get him to 1,000 and he gets monetized, I know he's going to be spreading the gospel. You know what I mean? And that's awesome. That's just another person out here spreading the gospel on a bigger platform. And so I would encourage you to at least check his channel out. All right, folks. Thank you for being here, everybody in the chat. And we're going to go ahead and close it down for tonight. I still got to film the premiere for tomorrow morning. But yeah, 6-shooter and Orville, just hang on for a second. I'm going to close it down and talk to you for a second. Good night, guys.